Skywarp is purple, therefore he is Cyclonus. Thundercracker is blue, therefore he is Scourge. In my headcanon, you have two sets of cloners. You have Reflector cloners, and you have Insecticon cloners. In my mind, the Insecticon cloning tech was repurposed into Cyclonus's armada. And then the Reflector's cloning tech was repurposed into sweeps. You have two types of clones that are flying around. And the Cyclonus clones could have a different face. The sweep clones should also have a different face.
And there is also Seeker clones such as the Seeker Air Warriors.
That's a good point. So there's three types of cloners. That even begs the question, why didn't Unicron create three sets of clones? So you have the Cyclonus clones, the sweep clones, and then the Reflector clones. You could have a Reflector leader bot, give him a name, and then have him also be able to clone. So it's almost like they got this awesome upgrade where they're able to clone themselves instead of having to have Transformer factories make the clones. Little things like that, I think, go a long way, adding to all of our collective headcanon to kind of make things even a little bit more fun, you know? It's so cool to have clones. It just makes it easier to tell stories and have people getting destroyed without having to decimate your cast of characters. It's kind of like the battle droids and the stormtroopers in Star Wars. It's just like nameless drones that you just kind of have to have them getting blown up and destroyed every episode. So it made sense that the Decepticons had all this cloning technology.
I fear the wounds aren't fatal.
Perceptor, you are full of shit.
Repair!
Thanks.
A blue foot swing. I don't know that I knew that this existed. Holy shit, this looks awesome. Look at that. My favorite is the original Takaro foot swing, which was a gray jet and a green tank. I mean, isn't this just cool? Imagine seeing this on the shelf.
He looks much more menacing in those colors, that's for sure.
Right? It's like Astro Train. He was a black train and a white shuttle. That's how you do it. Diaclone was like basic and good. And this was the triple changer that never released in the US. So it just looks so cool. Look at this helicopter, jet, robot. Megatron had two brother guns, and this is one of them. This guy looked freaking cool. And here's the other guy who also looks cool, and his body is really well proportioned. Blaster was originally part of a working radio. You could insert a compact radio device into his chest. This would link the radio device with the on-off button, station dial, and speakers on Blaster, powered by two AA batteries. Blaster's gun was designed for the mono earplug that came with the toy. First, you put the earbud into the hole in the gun, then you wrap the wire around the gun stock, and finally the jack goes into a hole in the gun stock. I always thought it was an interesting gun design, but this functionality makes it even better in my eyes. Now, Soundwave was a microcassette recorder replica, and he came with a replica headset and mic. Another toy from that line transformed into binoculars, and when I looked closer at the photograph, I noticed that his arms look really close to Rumble's piledriver arms. It's like this rabbit hole, right? You start looking at all the Diaclone stuff and all the things that could have been. Even the deluxe Insecticons, like how they got screwed over and weren't able to be added to the cartoon.
There was also a ladybug female Insecticon that was never released because Hasbro bought the toy line before they made the model.
Oh, really? Man.
G1 tank Autobot that was never released, part of the Dorvac toy line that World Road Buster came from.
Oh, Dorvac. I guess you're talking about this big-ass tank-looking dude?
Yep, that is the one.
Transform! You can do it! I know you can do it!
Transform!
So we got a taste of Rise of the Beasts Wheeljack, and I'm going to give you my theory, but first look at this photo from Back to the Future. Okay, now remember we got a Transformer DeLorean Gigawatt. Putting two and two together, my theory is that Rise of the Beasts Wheeljack is the official Transformers universe reincarnation of Doc Brown as a Volkswagen bus. I'm positive that a re-release of the Rise of the Beasts Wheeljack in light blue would make Back to the Future fans scramble to buy it so that they could recreate this iconic chase scene.
I can't deal with that now.
Deal with this!
The problem with GoBots to me was obviously the writing and the toy design. I remember as a child, it just felt like a bargain basement version of the high quality Diaclone stuff.
I don't understand why GoBots look like idiots in the cartoon. The toys had decent designs, but they got ruined.
As a kid, when I saw the toys, I couldn't get excited about them because there wasn't enough complexity. That was a deal breaker. As a child, you want to be challenged, and I felt like there was just enough complexity in transformations. GoBots is usually like only 3 or 4 steps, and I think that's one of the common mistake for a lot of executives, is they want to dumb things down more than they want to smarten things up because they want to appeal to the masses more. I think that's a mistake. The hill I would die on is like, I wanted to challenge people. If I was a CEO, I would be like, no, I'm not going to dumb it down. I'm going to make it complex because I want to challenge kids. Oh, that's so funny though. It's called Challenge of the GoBots, but it's not challenging.
Just say the franchise had the challenge of staying alive. Also, another thing, the names and designs for the GoBots weren't the best either when compared to
Yeah,
Transformers. Like, who would a child buy first, Baron Von Joy or Blue Streak?
Yeah, and then kudos to the Marvel guys, Bob Budiansky, Jim Shooter. They thought of some cool names. Except for Starscream, its original name was going to be like Ultar. But, they caught that and they made sure that didn't happen.
Their SA character named Dumper, yes, Dumper.
Dumper, yeah. And the GoBots had a character named Wrong Way. And I'll never forget the worst line in one of the GoBot shows was like, Wrong Way was going the wrong way. So this guy shouted at him, was like, hey, Wrong Way, you're going the wrong way. And it's like, oh my God, this writing. Even as a kid, you're like, this writing is horrible. It's like little things like that. Just like turn off,
Hanna-Barbera did the same thing with
funny.
found puppies back in the 80s, and I didn't like it when I was a kid. It was too much weirdness that is going on in that show.
Don't let them get me, Cooler, please.
Don't worry, Sam. They're not gonna catch you, because we're gonna catch them.
Someone on YT put some of the original G1 background music on that Bumblebee movie scene, and it improved it 100.
Why don't just do a whole G1 style movie, and Beast Wars would be next? I feel like they're rushing to Beast Wars.
Yeah, I think they're bringing Beast Wars in way too soon.
Right? They just feel like they did the G1, okay, now let's go to Beast Wars. No, that's too fast, man. Kind of like Netflix Transformers. We're finally getting to see Skyfire and all these G1 characters. But the G1 characters don't get developed enough because Netflix suddenly jumps to Beast Wars. I mean, maybe they have a vision for this. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right?
Michael Bay must be stopped no matter the cost. Jetfire Optimus made me go ham when I was a child and still does.
Yeah, it was super cool. So he combines with Jetfire, but then it like breaks off like in the next fight. Prime flies in Dark of the Moon. It would have been so cool if he kept his Jetfire upgrade parts for this scene. Don't destroy the cool thing that you made. But I have to eat my words because the G1 cartoon did that with Prime's trailer. And Prime's weapon rack trailer doesn't get destroyed in Bayformers. If you watched to the end, thanks. Let me know what you think of this longer format, interspersed with humor clips in between. See you in the next vid.